How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Zim's Beer Review. Thanks for tuning in. However you may be tuning in, whether it's on YouTube, live stream on Twitch, or if you're downloading wherever podcasts are found, thanks for tuning in. We have another episode in the Mystery Brew Review series. This is Mystery Brew Review number 4. Our good buddy at Shaverwood, Jason, who makes our awesome bottle opener that I feel like we haven't been able to use lately. He is the one who sends us these mystery brew reviews. If you have not seen any previous episodes, I highly encourage you to go check those ones out. Some really cool, some funny stuff has happened in the past, and I think it's kind of fun to see if I can figure out whether or not I'm able to nail down what beer it is simply by the flavor. Maybe sometimes I get hints from the bottle. And the scent, just whatever it is, I try and get my best guess. As you can see, he completely removes the label from the bottle, and if there is a hint on the top, he tapes the top. So if you're listening to the audio only version of the podcast, I'm holding a stubby brown beer bottle, no label, completely removed, just a glass bottle with tape over top of the cap, so I cannot tell any hint of the brewery or anything like that. As always, we're live streaming on YouTube, so if you happen to tune in at the right time, you can join in on the review. You can leave me a message, you can leave a comment in real time. I can answer. If you have a question about the beer, if I'm not answering something in the way that you're hoping, or you have a question about it yourself, you can write a message in, and I'll see it in real time, and I can answer it during the podcast, and it will be in the podcast on iTunes and everything. So I highly encourage everyone to subscribe to the channel, and that way when I do go live, you will know, and you actually might have the chance to tune in. So welcome back to another episode of Mystery Brew Review number 4. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. If this is your first episode of the Mystery Brew Review series, I kind of already let you know a little bit about it. He sends me a beer. I have no idea anything about it. He also sends me an envelope. As you can see here, the envelope has the beer label. Sometimes it's the beer label if he can get it off the bottle successfully. Most of the time it ends up being a cutout of the 6-pack container because it usually has a pretty good logo. And then I take those and I put them on the wall here behind us. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see all the previous Mystery Brew Review labels right up here. So this one will go up here right after this episode. But we won't know what this is until we give this a try. So we're going to go ahead and open this thing up. We got our cups here so we can get a good idea of the color, get some scent on it. I'll open it up here. Okay, see what we got. As we pour this in, really amber in color, actually, almost red. It almost has a red color to it, like an amber, really. Maybe slightly hazy, a little bit of particles floating in here, not too bad. It's without even smelling this or tasting this yet, I'm leaning towards this potentially being maybe maybe like an unfiltered IPA. Could be a Hefeweizen maybe. Looks a little bit too dark for that, actually. Maybe it's not a Hef. Hefs usually are lighter in color, more of a wheat beer. This doesn't look like your typical wheat beer does. Smelling it, I'm getting a lot of hops on this. When I smell this, it smells hoppy. Oh man, this is tough. So the smell makes me think that this is an IPA. So now I'm leaning towards this probably being a unfiltered IPA. I don't know if that's the case, but that's kind of what I'm thinking it is. I like to try and get my best guess before I give in and give it a taste. I like to have a good idea of what it might be before. Yeah, I'm going to have to try this. All I can think is maybe an IPA. It's smelling like a really hoppy, unfiltered IPA. Not getting a lot of other scents off of it other than the hops. So I got to try it. Extremely hoppy beer. This is difficult. Usually I kind of have a pretty good idea. And if you look over my shoulder here at our previous ones, the other mystery brew reviews have been, I don't want to say really off the wall, but really specific flavors, something unique about them. We had a vanilla infused porter. We had the hazelnut brown nectar from Rogue, and we had the Big Wave Golden Ale, and it just tasted kind of like a Hawaiian beer. It was unique in that sense. This one, I'm just getting a lot of hops on this. I want to say this is an IPA. I don't know what else it would be. Very hoppy beer. The bottle itself is a stubbier bottle. A little bit shorter than your average glass beer bottle. Oh man, this is so difficult. It's amber in color. It's hoppy in flavor, but that's it. It's a good beer. It's actually a really good drinking beer. Higher in alcohol content, I'm going to guess. Man. I'm getting hops, little bit of sweet, slightly bitter on the back end. I'm not getting any specific fruit notes. Nothing along those lines to point me in the right direction on this. Oh, this is difficult. I'm going to go ahead and make a guess. Although I don't know if I don't even know a brewery. I can't even think of a brewery off the top of my head. I'm going to guess this is an IPA. It looks unfiltered, although maybe it is not advertised as such. I do think that it is an unfiltered IPA. It is extremely hoppy. I'm gonna guess. I got to think of a specific beer here. I can't just say a hoppy IPA. I got to come up with something very specific. I'm gonna guess that this is Ninkasi, out of Eugene, Oregon, and I'm gonna say this is. Oh man, what's one of their hoppier beers? I'm gonna say this is Ninkasi Tricera hops, only because I know that one has a lot of hops in it. It's been triple hopped, hence the Tricera hops name. And this beer I'm tasting is very hoppy. That's my only guess, is that I'm not getting a lot of flavor notes, and it's very hoppy. And I know that Ninkasi makes beer in these stubby bottles. I think I know they make the big bombers, like the 22-ounce bottles. Gosh, I'm going to go with it. I'm saying Ninkasi Tricera hops IPA. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and open up our label. Okay, we're opening it up for the very first time. It's taped still, as you can see. Oh, man, it's taped. Okay, I don't want to rip the label on the inside. Sorry for podcast listeners, a little bit loud. Okay, double envelope because the label's so big. What do we have here? Oh, man. I should have got this. We have Ninkasi Brewing Company out of Eugene, Oregon. I correctly guessed the brewery. Wow. And okay, so it is an IPA. This is Ninkasi Brewing Company's Dawn of the Red IPA. It's a red IPA. When I was pouring this beer, I even commented on the red color, and then I tasted an IPA. Why didn't I say red IPA? Man, if I had nailed Ninkasi Brewing Company Dawn of the Red, man, dang it. That was a pretty good guess. All right, so he went ahead and gave us a little bit of notes on the back of here to let you guys know a little bit about them. Because if you're new to the podcast, what I do usually is I'll review a beer, give you my opinion on it and some flavor notes, and then I'll follow it up with information about the brewery itself. And in these mystery brew review cases, I don't know what I'm about to review, so I can't do any research ahead of time to let you know anything about them. So he goes ahead and gives me, a little bit of information about it so that I still can let you know about the beer that we're reviewing. So today we're reviewing Ninkasi Brewing Company, Dawn of the Red IPA. I don't know if I've actually had this before. I've had a couple different beers from Ninkasi. One of their seasonal beers is actually one of my favorite beers of all time. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm hopefully going to try and get it when it's in season and review it on the podcast. But yeah, one of theirs is they make pretty good beer. Usually very hoppy in flavor. So this beer, is a red IPA, kind of like an amber mixed with an IPA. The alcohol content on this is 7%. I thought it might be a little bit higher, actually, based on the flavor. 7% is lower than I would have guessed. The IBUs are 66. That's getting up there. I prefer beers in the 50 to 60 range. This would probably be slightly on the higher side of my palate, what I prefer. This beer is available year round. So you can get this Dawn of the Red any time of year. It's not seasonal by any means. And the way that they get a lot of that hop flavor. So if you remember at the beginning of this review, when I smelled it, when I took that scent of the beer, the first thing I said was, this is very hoppy. I could smell the hops. That, they call that the nose. So what you smell, a lot of the hops that you're smelling are not flavor hops, as weird as that may sound. A lot of hop flavor, a hop scent that you get comes from a process called dry hopping. So dry hopping is after the beer has been brewed, it's done brewing, you're in fermentation now. So you leave it for 2-3 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever it is for that particular beer. And during the fermentation, you will actually add hops to it. Just pure hops to the beer. It doesn't flavor the beer. Those dry hops really only go towards the scent of the beer. Now, it obviously still affects how you taste the beer because you're smelling more hops, but it does not actually add hop flavor to the beer. Fun fact. So they say that this is a good food pairing would be chicken, seafood burgers, spicy cuisine, fish tacos, or savory French toast. That is a really odd range of things to pair with. Chicken, seafood, or burgers? Why don't you just say like any meat? I don't know. That seems very broad. So here's their description of it. This is bursting with tropical notes. This is a red IPA. Captures the bright complexity of El Dorado and Mosaic hops. So the Mosaic hops I've used a lot. They're really light in flavor. They have a really good hop characteristic, and they can almost sometimes give you like a fruity characteristic. But in this case, it's not so much. Maybe because they're used in a smaller quantity. I'm not sure. They say this is an assertive hop presence. The assertive hop presence is carried by a subtle caramel backbone, unearthing a beer that is flavorful and juicy. A little bit of caramel, huh? Now you got me hunting. Now I'm going to try this and think about that. Caramel. Maybe. I don't know. That's a stretch. The color, absolutely. Caramel, not getting a lot of the scent of caramel. Let's see what this is. If this is anything extra. No, he just hid it a little bit more. That was extra wrapping paper. So, yeah, overall, this is a pretty good beer. Very hoppy. I do like IPAs, although I don't love double IPAs, and this almost has the flavor of a double IPA simply because it is so hoppy, and a lot of that comes from it being dry hopped. They hopped it after fermentation as well as during the brew process, so you get a lot of hop flavor as well as a lot of hop scent, and it just, in my mind, it just ends up being slightly overwhelming. It's like the only thing you can taste, and I prefer a double IPA if it's like a specialty flavor. Like if you have like a grapefruit double IPA, it has another flavor to carry it. It's not just the hops that's leading it. Now, that's not to say that a hop forward beer is bad. It's just not my favorite. I do like the flavor of hops, but I love the flavor of hops when it's paired with something else and not the star of the show. Although in this case, it is definitely the star of the show. It is a well done beer. I can't fault it for that. It's actually, for a red IPA, it's actually really, really good. I don't know if I've ever actually had a red IPA before. I've had reds and I've had IPAs, but I don't know if I've had a red IPA. Maybe I have. I'm trying to think now. I might have to go back and look and see if I've done one of these before. But overall, it's a pretty good beer. Red in color, really hoppy in flavor, really hoppy on the nose. The hop bitterness stays with you well after you've drank the beer. It lingers around. Overall, it's a pretty darn good beer. I was really close to guessing this one today. Didn't guess it, but I got the right beer company. Slightly bummed that I couldn't nail down the red IPA no matter how close I was. Dang. I should have got that. I had nothing to go off of there. There was nothing unique about it, and I still was able to get pretty darn close. I'm going to count this as a win. This goes as a win. Jason, thanks for trying, but you lost again. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. This was episode number 32. I'll be back this Tuesday with episode number 33. And then episode 34 will be airing on Thursday. Both of those will be occurring at 7 o'clock. So tune in if you want to. And as always, thanks for drinking.